Hi, I'm Ese, and this is As It Is. Today we'll be talking about domestic violence. Let's dive in. With the rise of the record of male and female being affected by domestic violence, do you see education playing a deliberate role for people trapped in abusive relationship, Ijeoma?
Okay. Yes, I do see education playing a role. So from my experience and from research, most people trapped in domestic violence are mainly the illiterate. Have more of a when they find themselves in such situation, they are unable to get out because they can't make decisive decision as one that has been trained over time to use it for cognitive sense. So they are afraid of their finance, how they're going to cope being alone with their kids, especially for the women. They don't know how to get out of those marriage because they can't take care of the responsibility that the families are taking care of. So once you are an illiterate, that means you don't have easy access to good financing. It becomes difficult for you to want to come out or speak out against it. So education is very, very fundamental to fighting abuse within the marriage.
Picking up from what Ijeoma said about literacy, and do you agree with that ideology that if you're literate, then you are able to speak out, you are able to own the situation and find solutions to it?
Okay, so to a very large extent, I totally agree with her. Mina, I have no fault in what she just said. But to add to that, it's just beyond being educated, because we also find some highly educated women in that same situation. So then if you go deeper, you realize that some of these women also, or men, also have to do with their orientation about how religion and the society also play a role. Some might come from a family where, in our tribe, nobody leaves the husband's house and whatnot, right? Regardless of what you're going through, you just have to stick with it and all of those things. So if they have been telling her that from childhood, if that's how she has been raised, and if she's the type that look up to her family, put them in the high pedestal, don't want to be the black sheep, so to speak, she then begin to endure. Not that she's not educated, not that she does not know where to go to find help or have enough information to make a certain decision, but because she feels that she owes her family so much, they've invested so much in her, and then what she has grown up with. That's on one hand. And on the other hand is what religion also says to most of these people. I say these people. Now, for me, religion is different from Christianity. So in some people, they have taken religion to replace Christianity. And to them, religion says that God, and they've forgotten the word. God said, God frown at divorce. Frown at divorce. Frown. That's the word frown. Does not mean he says, if you do, I will kill you. He frowns at it, meaning left for him, don't do it. And we've also forgotten the permissive will of God and then the permissible will of God, meaning either one. God is okay with it. God is okay with it, but is more okay with one. Do you understand? Yeah. So the Bible says use the word frown. It didn't say forbidden. Do you understand? The word is frown. So, but they've taken it out of context because God frowns. That definitely means, hey, you cannot do that, you cannot do this. Anyway, to cut the long story short is education, yes, orientation, yes, societal values, systems put in place, the upbringing, and whatnot. All of these things contribute to what make, especially the female, to remain. And for the male, it's usually the society, just like you have said before now. Yeah, like how could you say your wife is beating you? How could you say you're leaving your family because of you're not a man? Do you understand what I'm saying? So the definition of certain items in one's life, values in one's life, also determine the kind of decision you will ultimately take when you find yourself in such a situation.
Okay, so considering the fact that domestic violence is not necessarily physical assault, it can be emotional, meaning somebody talking down at another person consistently, such that it begins to affect that person emotionally, is found under, it's an abuse, like you said. Tomiwa, so considering our society and how it's almost like it's not a big deal now. At least they beat you. What do you think anybody, male or female, in such situation should do?
The emotional abuse is actually more terrible than the physical abuse, because now we're dealing with your mental health, which could lead to depression, which could lead to suicide, right? So, first things first, talk about it. We have been so enclosed in our thinking that we were not taught to talk. We're not taught to share our thoughts. We're not taught to say, this is what I'm going through. Because even when you start to say it, your mom or your dad might say, shut up. What are you talking about? Do you get? So we need to learn to open up and talk about it. Yes. Okay, so now there's the part of you talking about it and a so-called pastor now use you as the topic of discussion in church on Sunday. And then you realize that, oh, I told this man my situation, and then he's speaking about it, which makes people, if I hear that, I definitely will not want to talk about it again, which is why we should talk more to people who are professionals. Yes, I know it's not very rampant in Nigeria, therapists and all that. People frown at it, but talk about it. There should be someone in your corner that you can talk to. There should be someone that you can run to. I have a friend that if I'm running haywire, I will call her and tell her, babe, this is what I'm going through right now. She will listen to my rants. If she has to abuse me first, she will abuse me. If whatever it is that I need at that moment, she will give it to me. And then I feel better. And then I know what to do next. So that's it. We need to talk about it.
Okay, so talk about it. Talk about it. It's vital. I'd like for us to highlight the various mindsets that condones domestic violence, that condones this abusive relationship. While I want us to deal with that, I thought it was also important to highlight the fact that domestic violence is also not necessarily something that happens just between a married couple. It could be brother and sister. It could be father and child. Do you understand? I mean, it could be mother and child. It's all, anything that happens within the confines of the closeness of such relationship in a home. Okay? So, back to my question. Can we talk about the various mindsets that condones it? I mean, you're an expert in this. Helps.
Okay, so for me, thank God you brought this up. Mindset is very key. So what forms our mindset from childhood from society? You first of all introduced into a society or to a family first. It's a family. What your parents taught you, how they grew you up. As he said, there are some family that you would observe it that this family, my aunt is suffering something like this and she had kept quiet. My mom suffered it and kept quiet. So those things form you as a child growing up, whether a man or a woman. For some boys, they've seen their mom talk down on their dad so much that even in marriage, they tolerate it because that's what they've seen. And their father had taught them that's the only way to have peace. So that's the parent from your mindset. The next is the society. Then the religious body that you are with, and your friends. So all of these things from your mindset, those are the things that either enslaves you or liberates you. If you are formed in the right, you're born into the family that discourages such and talks about discussing to resolve issues and have liberal mindset, it will be easy for you to want to do same with your spouse, with your friends, with your sister. If you have a religious organization or a society that accepts that, it will be easy. But if all of this four doesn't work, and you just have one person that can, or you're willing to open your mindset to one person, one teacher, one speaker, a group of friends that tells you this is not an acceptable way, you decide to go and read to change your mindset. As long as you want to build a liberal mindset, a mindset that seeks change, then you'll be able to confront it. Else, you'll be subject to where you're coming from.
So there's a situation, being practical right now, there's a situation that I'm privy to, so where this woman is living in an abusive relationship. The husband's batters her, talks down at her. She's almost like a nobody. She left him for some time in hopes to gather herself together. She considered
Children.
living with her children, but she kept considering her children. While she left and went back to her mother's house, she got passes from other men and she was considering, but she was still thinking, so what kind of life am I going to give my children? What do I do and all that? And then eventually she went back to the man. Amidst all this, the man wasn't bothered with her. He had another woman that he was, dealing with or relating with while she was gone. When she came back, it was like, idiot. So that's you just did chakara, you understand? And then you came back. But my question in relating to this is associated with the fact that sometimes there's a mindset that if I leave, what if I have not endured enough to weather the storm till it changes and then things now work out?
You want to go first?
Okay, so
You want to go?
yes. So in life, there's always what ifs. Life, sitting down here, what if this roof falls down? What if something happens? There's always what ifs, right? So I feel it's basically mindset, culture, and religion. What has been put inside of us, so much so that we find it difficult. We take one step forward, and then we hear something. Someone just says something, and then we take like 20 steps backward. And then we're back in the same situation that we were before. So it still boils down to you being able to liberate yourself and say, no, I am better than this. I don't need to take this crap. Sorry for using that word. I don't need to take this crap. I can hope for better from outside. Let me stay away. I know a lot of people think, oh, my children, trust me, those kids will be fine. They'll be okay. Give them 5, 10 years, and then they're all on the way to being successful and all that. No matter whatever it is you need to do at that point in time, you need to do it, but from a safe distance. If you say, oh, what will people say? Oh, did I enjoy enough? What if I had stayed? What if is this? There will always be what ifs. There will always be what ifs.
Michael? Okay, so I would like to balance it. You're very correct. I would like to balance in the sense that the what if is also very key. We also need to watch it. If you have also raised a culture, which is what is happening right now, raise a culture who want everything to be right, proper at all times. So the moment there's a sign that there's an issue, there's a problem, we just jump the fence, just skip to the next shit. What that will also do, it will create another generation.
Intolerance.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So we actually need to balance it. So first off, you could say, okay, why Mike, why are you taking us back? I mean, we're talking about people already in it. But first of all, we also need to also discuss how did we even get in it in the first place? All right? So this is also because we're on the live television right now. It's also to help militate to reduce the occurrence of such issues. Meaning, don't just marry because he's handsome, he's rich, he's whatever it is, she's beautiful, I like the way she walks and all of these things. Understand that marriage or coming together as a couple, whether partnership or whatever it is, there is a level of responsibility. You are going in there not for yourself to start with. You are going there like you claim you love this person. You are going there to better that person. Hopefully that person also accepts to do the same. So if you go in there for your sake, you will meet with a lot of disappointments. Like I often say, and I will say it again, disappointment is a derivation of unrealistic expectations. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you go in there, then that will happen. And then the abuse sometimes, why some people want to support the male or the abuser is because they will say there's a reason for it. He cursed it, she cursed it, and I'm just not be able to behave
To handle it
better. So that's a likelihood of facthood in there. But here's the problem. I give you said you do practical example.
Yeah.
So there was a time something was going on between me and my wife. And then I got so angry. And I would never touch, I would never raise my hand and all that. But I was so angry, my words were hard. And then I saw her, she was scared. And then I went back inward and I asked myself a question. What is my number one duty as a husband? To protect. So how the person I'm supposed to protect will not be scared of me, not even an outsider. If you remember that David was always running from Saul, right? And at a point in time, Saul died, and the person that came to tell David, oh, your enemy has died, and your king, the king has died. He said, let's go and behead him. You know why? Because he still feel that despite the fact that Saul was after me, my job was to protect him. So if he's dead, that means I have failed. So if you come to tell me that thinking I'm doomed to rejoice, you're only telling me that I'm a failure. So meaning, if you understand that your job, your primary assignment is to make the other person better, you're not going there because I want to be better. I'm looking for security. I'm looking for that's why I married him. No, you are wrong. Okay, that's where things will happen, and then you begin to act in a certain way because you have met with disappointment, and then he now became aggressive or she became aggressive, whether verbally or physically. Do you understand? So we need to first of all understand why do you go into that relationship in the first place? You have to understand that you're not going there for yourself. Meaning, you need to be complete before you go in there. So you're not looking for who to complete you.
Okay, let me take something from what Seun asked. Okay, so I'm a single mom. I'm a survivor of abuse.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Okay.
in marriage. So this is it. What he said. I've seen in my journey with lots of abused moms trying to rehabilitate them. I've seen this cycle of going back, and sometimes not even going back to worse situations.
Definitely.
Yes, and sometimes going back to other men. Every woman seeks out a man as a companion, or maybe he's not a man. Majority of women, that's her mindset. We seek out a man. So we're always afraid of that journey when we miss it with one, and you are now going out with all the men. And you know this thing about all men are the same, which I don't believe. You now go and you date the first one, date the second one. When they go out, they always date. And it doesn't work. You start questioning because now you're not learning new things about men.
Right.
And the thing is, you're on that journey to learn.
Right.
That's why I always kick against fear. Confront all situations.
Yeah.
So you're on that journey to learn. So sometimes she doesn't complete her journey. Life is a process of transfiguration. So she doesn't complete that journey. She goes back. So what I tell them is, before you get out of any marriage, you need to tell yourself this. Last, you will be fine. You may not marry again.
That.
When you accept the
About that.
fact, when you accept the fact that you are in this thing, why are you leaving? There's a reason why you're leaving. When I help women in abusive situation, I don't tell them get out. You stay there and I'll keep helping, support, comfort you, talk to the husband, arrest him if I need to arrest him. And I run a class every Saturday for them. And I am waiting for her to just tell me one thing. Sister Mary, I deserve better. Once she says that, I am ready to dip my hand in and pull out. I'm just waiting for her to change her mindset. But when she still tells me, I'm enjoying, I did this, is that I'm watching you. But when she tells me, Sister Mary, I deserve better, I am ready to dip my hands and pull you out.
You aid the person till the person gets to that point where they come to a realization that I deserve better.
Yes.
What if the person is dead before they realize that?
Okay, so in situations of abuse, there are different situations. The ones I'm always scared of is battery. Yes, when there's battery. In psychological abuse, no matter how much you bring out, she goes back. at least they beat me. They'll say, society said now until don't they beat me. And even church now makes it difficult. They now say until the man they beat you.
Until the man dies.
So it's and so if it's battery, that one we step in. If we have to arrest the husband, we do, and all of that. If we have to relocate the woman, we do. But once it's psychological and other forms of abuse, neglect, abandonment, sexual abuse, we'll just be teaching you. What I've come to realize that many women have not built their personality.
Okay, wait. It has not been against the men. But let's quickly chip this in, right? As an African child,
Yes.
male child, right? Nobody has ever told us or, talked to us about getting into a relationship where you probably earn less than your wife.
That's true.
We have never been trained like that. Even if anybody tries to even bring it up, somebody will say, God forbid.
Yeah.
Immediately they shut it down.
Yes.
But reality have told us over time
Yeah.
that there will come a situation,
Yeah.
or there will come a time,
Okay.
or there will be a relationship where you go into where the woman will earn
More than the man.
So we need to have that discussion even from birth. We need to start talking about that, because oftentimes when the guy goes in there and is not able to, two things will happen. It's like a drowning man. If you go into the pool to go and save a drowning man, if you go from the front,
Yeah.
you know what to do? He will grab you and try to pull you down, thinking that it's not being wicked. Thinking that when they pull you down, that he will go up too, right? So what do? You go from behind and push them to the shores, right? Now, the same way when a man that goes into such a relationship and found out maybe he was never earning enough, or the woman suddenly got a promotion, or he got a demotion, or whatever it is. But the situation now is the woman is earning more because he was not trained to handle that. Two things he will learn to do. He will either want to pull that woman down, one way or the other, hence the abuse start. Not because he hates this woman.
Yeah, definitely.
He hates this situation he has found himself. And he don't know how to handle it because he has never been taught how to handle it. And he dare not say to his friend, okay, madam. So the first thing, okay, start pulling that, start coming out with ways to either make her miss her job, come up with quarrel in the morning when she's going to work, or whatever it is, come up with some schemes. I don't like that job, or come up with an accusation. Your boyfriend. They come up with all sorts, right? And it's not a laughing matter. It's a real situation.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen. Then the other side of it is where at that point anything goes. When the woman now comes, I think I have to go to work. So you will choose between that work and me.
Yeah, that becomes.
That comes in. The ego comes in.
Yes.
Also, issue that he's never been trained to handle his egos.
Yeah.
What you always hear, and I've often been a preacher of that too, until I learned my lessons, that we'll say, if you bruise a man's ego, you see an animal. But if you caress it, you see a dove, you see a lamb, which is just half of the truth. The other truth is that, dude, that your ego, that animal in you, tame it.
Right.
Tame it. Whether they bruise it or caress it or not, be in control. Because the Bible says that the spirit of a man is subject to the man. Do you understand? That beast in you, tame it. It's your responsibility. Yes, you have an ego, you were born with an ego, but tame it. So it's just the half of the truth when we tell people, to tell women, don't bruise it, don't talk to him anyhow, don't talk back at him. That's one way. Yes, that is fine. But the other side, Mr. Man, tame your spirit is subject to you. Tame the animal in the beast in you. So the bottom line is, for the man also, we need to start educating the man. To let them understand that it is okay, like you rightly said before we camera went on, it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
It's very, very okay not to be okay.
So, let me jump something in here. I think, first of all, if we need to get it right, we need to define what the head means. Because when we define what the head means, you see this word ego, pride, that I call it the demon called male ego. Because when you call ego, when you call pride, men associate themselves with it. But in the true nature, God said, submit yourself to one another. It says, love her and be ready to give your life for her. The call of the head in the family is a call of sacrifice. It's a call of submission. I don't know how come the world has twisted it so much around that we now hear male ego, we now hear pride, when it's supposed to be male submission, when it's supposed to be male sacrifice, when it's supposed to be male tenderness. So those are the issues. It's that word head we need to redefine it in the home. When we can redefine it in the home, all of these clauses that give issues to the man's statue or to the man's mindset from the boy child becomes tamed down, because the woman has her pride. At a point in my life, in my marriage, and I had to sit down and say, I mean, my sister came in one episode when a pastor had to come to my house and said, Madam, leave. Because at that point, a bicycle was flying to hit me. And it was my pastor that pushed it away. So my sister asked me, Mary, who are you? Yes, when you said something about education, the most brilliant of us can fall victim of this thing.
Yes.
My father said, they've given you love potion. You can fall victim of this.
Yeah.
So once because I had pride, I had to sit down and I brought a chair and said, yeah, God, we need to talk today, because I was taught to endure in marriage. Right? I'm not going to be the first person to rebel, the black sheep of my family. It's not possible. I'm not going to be in this situation. So talk. And the Lord had to teach me what was called the law of separation. He had to teach me what is called yourself as a queen. And I just envisioned myself. He said, if I take you as my daughter and you are of my royal lineage, I will not accept some things to be done to you. True. And I had to learn that. So I have pride as a woman, but the woman's pride is not being spoken about. It's bruised easily. And many men climb on top of it and succeed on top of it, and we keep quiet. So this issue of head in this partnership called marriage needs to be dealt with.
You just hit the nail on the head. Marriage is partnership. It is not, you are here, I'm here. Yes, they say the man is the head and the woman is the neck, but we need to come to a realization that it's a partnership. We are in it together. If you fail, I fail, just like my husband will say. My husband will say, if I fail in this marriage, it's not only me that failed, though. We failed together because it is a partnership. So we need to realize it, that the two will come together, just like the Bible said, that two will become one. We need to come to realization that, come on, this thing is the two of us, both of us, not a third party, not the church, not religion, not culture. It is me and you in this. What do we want? How do we want to do it? How do we want to raise our children? What do we want out of life? If we don't start talking about that, then marriage is
inevitable.
Is inevitable.
Thank you.
That's it.
So my own take to that is this. First of all, in everything you want to do in life, you first of all ask yourself some questions. Okay, I want to go to school. Why do you want to go to school? Because everybody's going to school. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's the topic for another day. But bottom line is that whatever you want to go into, you need to understand why, how, and when, and one of those questions, right? If you get them right, at least get about 60% right, then you probably will have a better chance to make better decisions when you get into it. So for me, is this. A man, I believe marriage is, the mystery unto God have said. We know that. So a man goes to God and says, God, I want to marry her. Right? And God says, that's the jewel of my heart. That's the queen of my eyes. That's the apple of my eye. God hyper so much. God said, I cannot give you this girl like that. But let's have a discussion. And then there's a transaction going on between God and the man. The woman was not there. It was just the God and man now. God said, in my eye, she is the same as you. In my eye, if I give her 10 naira to feed per day, I give you 10 naira to feed per day. We are all the same in my eye. Do you get what I'm saying? And God said, but I will not go above my words. Do you get what I'm saying? I've inserted my word. That I will not go above my word, beneath my word. I go around my word. And my word is, so whatever I'm going to give to her, I have to give it through you. So the question is, let's have a transaction and sign the dotted lines. So God said, you guys say, no, whatever you want to do, I'll give it to her, I'll give to her. God said, okay, no problem, go ahead and marry her. So they signed a document. She was not there, just you and God, the man and God. And then when things started happening in the marriage, God will pass it. If you're supposed to give you 10 naira, I give you 20 naira. Understand that the remaining 10 naira is for her. That's why the Bible says that when a man finds a wife, he obtains favor. So he gets everything like double, right? So the part of it is not yours. So it's not that you're not giving her. No. Don't, pride in it that I gave my wife this, I gave my wife that. No, you did not. It's God. Because before you married her, you were getting 10 naira. Now you're getting 20 naira. And it was from the discussion you had with God that God is giving her the other 10 naira, but through you. Now, meaning conditionally, when nothing she does to you, you must give it to her because it's not yours to give. It's yours to pass through. So even if you slap your mother in front of you, and she now come the same minute and say, honey, I need to change my car, you will do it. Because it's not attached, there's no condition that says that she has to be right before you give it to her. So in case she does anything wrong to you, you can then take it back to the same guy that you had a deal with. Say, this madam is misbehaving, and I still have to do this. Then God said, don't worry. Like the Bible says that he put the king, he troubled him in the night, that he has to call for the record book of life to who to forgive and to do stuff with. Yeah. That's how to deal with it instead of attacking her. So if the man does not understand that the record, that's what the word infidel. Infidel is a law term, meaning the man that has violated an agreement. That's why the man that does not provide for the family is worse than an infidel. That's what it means. And that doesn't necessarily mean money or whatever. Conducive environment for her to thrive, for her to be the best she can be, for her to be that woman that God sees in her. So if the man does not understand that, I will say, leave immediately. It's not until he begins to abuse you. Because if he doesn't understand that today, he will definitely abuse you.
Okay, so the other part that I thought that is essential to address is something you mentioned earlier. Yes, the abuse and all that. But I think it's important for the individual to be a complete person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not seeking completeness from somebody else. I mean, the concept of marriage suggests that it is two complete people coming together to form one. So that they now, I mean, it's built around the concept of synergy, where two coming together does not form two. It can be 1 million, it can be 1,000 at the end of the day. So that's set. But are there places, official, should I say government establishments or private establishments that people can actually go to if they're having challenges? I know that there is a place for psychiatrists. I know there's a place for counseling. But are there official platforms that people can go to when they're having challenges? Or neighbors that notice that can call? Are there places like that?
Yes.
Sure, after that.
Yes, there are. So currently, I know of Project Alert. They're very effective at what you do. Lagos State is doing wonderfully well when it comes to domestic violence. They do a whole lot of mediation around it. So you could always just walk into the Ministry of Women Affairs and they will take it up from there. If you go to Project Alert and so much more like that, just browse around it and you'll be able to see. Now, they have lots of homes. For those that are stranded, they don't know where to go to, they can't talk to anybody because lots of women have spoken. Women will talk. So there's no woman that is suffering from domestic violence that has not found somebody to talk to. It's just the advice she's getting. So if you've spoken to somebody in the past and you still feel you're stranded, you still feel you want to get out of the marriage, you want to take your children and flee for the safety of your life, then you can reach out to same Lagos State. They have homes for these women. I know Project Alert have the same. Then Funke Adejumo. Yes, Pastor Funke Adejumo. Yes, she has a home for such women. Your life is very important. Don't take it for granted. Your children are going to be fine. You know the beautiful thing I love about single moms that are healed is the amount of love they are able to pour out on their kids. Because people keep making this argument because of the kids. Kids need, I will say this anyway, just one sane parent. It may not be the mom, it may not be that, maybe the grandfather that can show them enough love to see them through their development phase. And if the partner is not offering that for the sake of your kids, excuse yourself for a while and build yourself up so that you'll be able to have enough love for yourself to be able to give.
So is there a place for non-married people? I'm talking about people who are not couples, but having or suffering from domestic violence, either, like I said, father to child. There are people, ladies who stay with their uncle or uncles, or a younger person to his elder sister, and she's constantly battering the person's mind with unkind words, with negative. Is there a place for such people
Most
as
of
well?
these places take some. Though it's Lagos here, I know in Enugu, Fadambaka has something. Reverend Fadambaka has something like that. I've seen one at Ogui roadside where they take care of girls like this, even those that are pregnant that want to keep the baby and have to run away, he takes care of them. So these places are available everywhere. You just need to walk into Ministry of Women's Affairs in any local government, walk into there and make inquiry as to where you could stay. Don't be scared. Fight the fear. Step up. Your life is more important than anybody. Your life is more important than that of your kids, than that of your spouse, and that of your parents. You are unique, you're special, and God has a reason for putting you.
And so you've heard it. You are special. You are unique. God has a purpose for your life. We have said it as it is. We hope that you find help. We hope that you don't suffer in silence. Thank you for watching. See you next time.